All right, Lions and Packers. And to kick us off here, we're starting the trenches as football begins with our friend Terron Armstead, who I got the chance to sit down with and talk about one of his favorite matchups. Of course, it's Penei Sewell, not just going up against Rashawn Gary now, but also having to handle Micah Parsons and what goes into that. Check it out. All right, now we are honored to be joined by the one and only, the Pro Bowler, the All Pro, and honestly, just one of our favorite guys to watch in the NFL over the last 10 years. It's the one and only Terron Armstead. Terron, I appreciate you joining us, my friend. This is going to be a lot of fun getting to talk some trenches with you here. It's week one. We're all fired up. How you feeling, my friend?
Feel great, man. Trevor, you got me excited. We got the season's about to start here very soon. It's a lot of emotions right now. I recently retired, so I'm not suiting up for opening day for the first time in over 12 years, and I'm on a different side. But I'm super excited. I'm ready. I'm locked in. Let's get it.
I'm excited to have you on this side. I'm sure it's a little bittersweet for you, right? Normally you're putting on the helmet, but I also heard the podcast where you talked about, not having to go up against Jared Verse or Miles Garrett or any of those guys ever again. So I feel like it is a little bittersweet for you. But, we're going to be talking trenches with you over the course of this season, which I'm super fired up about. And we asked you, hey, week one, there's a lot of different matchups to talk about, a lot of excitement. And you said you wanted to talk about one of the headliner matchups. It's the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. And I feel like this would have been a headliner matchup anyways. Rashawn Gary, Penei Sewell, two really good defensive and offensive lines going up against each other. Now we add Micah Parsons to the mix. So you're somebody who has gone up against both of these guys. You've gone up against Rashawn Gary a couple times. You've gone up against Micah Parsons. Penei Sewell, he's gone up against both of these guys as well. But what excites you a lot about this matchup with these three guys going up against each other?
Are you kidding me? This is best of the best. It's good on good. Micah getting traded from the Cowboys to the Packers, so close to the season starting, learning a new system, but at the same time, he's generational. In my opinion, Michael Parsons is a generational talent. We will only see him once a generation for what he's able to do with his size, speed, strength, athleticism. It's insane. Another guy that I will call generational, and I do not use this term lightly, Trevor, is Penei Sewell. He is special. He is different. He only comes around once a generation. And so we get to see these guys match up in week one. It's so many intangibles and details that goes into this matchup, not to mention Rashawn Gary. And I don't want to brush over him at all. He's an incredible player. He has been highly productive and successful in Green Bay since he came into the door. But specifically Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons, as many times as we can get that matchup, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm at peace just to be able to watch that.
We are too. We are too. No, we can't wait for it. And speaking of how many times we might get that matchup, it used to. I felt like it used to be. Oh, you had your best edge rusher. A long time ago, it was like, oh, okay, you're gonna have your best edge rusher go up against the left tackle because if you win, you're gonna hit the quarterback in the blind side. They're not gonna be able to see you. And then it felt like football and defensive coordinators sort of adjusted with the chess match, and they were like, whoa, hold on, hold on. Left tackles are the better ones in the NFL, or at least traditionally that's how it used to be. I'd say that it's different now. You have two really good offensive tackles and you have to. But the reason why is because then defense coordinators started to shift their best pass rushers over the right tackle all the time. And so I feel like with the best pass rushers, you have a ton of versatility. And specifically for these guys, Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, you look at their career splits of where they have lined up, left versus right, it's pretty close to even. Jeff Hafley's the defensive coordinator for Green Bay. He's not going to be afraid to throw one of these guys over Penei Sewell on one series and then the other one on another. So as somebody who played the offensive tackle position at an incredibly high level, very successful in taking on so many different types of rushers, how tough is that to prepare, to know that you have to prepare for two different guys, and not only two different guys, two guys that are Pro Bowl caliber rushers? How difficult is that to prepare for?
Yeah, Trevor, it's a lot that goes into game planning for one specific guy, especially if he's one of the elites. So you're trying to game plan for Micah Parsons. You have to watch all his wins first. Like, how is he consistently getting to the quarterback? Is it speed? Is it power? Is it inside move? So you want to chart all those first. All right, now let's get to his second best move. What's he's winning on the most, the second most. So you chart all those. All right, so I want to take those two away. Throughout my week of preparation, as I'm working my set through practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I want to prepare to take his top two moves away. That was my approach. He has to beat me with his third move. And that's really hard to do. Like, I feel like I was a good player. Penei Sewell, he's incredible. So as you're studying and game planning for this one elite guy, now they add that other dynamic of a second guy that you have to give that same amount of attention to, that you have to take away his top two moves. Rashawn Gary is a lot of speed to power, and he is powerful. He's quick twitch. He has long arms. He likes to go with a long, extended arm right in front of him to generate power. He's not a two-hand bull. He doesn't lead with his head. He leads with his hands. And so you have to try to study these two guys, and it just adds more to your weekly preparation when you have to study two guys that can change the game if they're not accounted for. So for Penei, he's gonna break down Micah. He's gonna spend a lot of time on Micah because he's more familiar with Rashawn Gary. Being in the same division, they playing each other twice a year. Micah coming over he's falling out of the sky from Dallas, landing in Green Bay. So Penei has to all of a sudden adjust his game plan and preparation for an elite guy.
So I want to ask you one question about Penei before we get you out of here, but I feel like I'm going to have so many of these questions for you throughout the season. But you mentioned the preparation. Obviously, I think that when people talk about preparation, you're talking about film work, right? You're talking about getting with your coaches. Okay, what are you seeing here? What do we need to adjust to here? And like you mentioned, understand it. Okay, I got to take away, his first and his second move, what he really likes to do. It's one thing to be able to watch the film because you guys have access to the film and you can see all this stuff. How do you take that to the field? Like in a week of practice, how are you really emulating? And this is difficult to do because Micah's a one of one, but like, how do you best emulate going up against a Micah Parsons or a Rashawn Gary? Do you sort of tell your teammates in practice, like, hey, can we spend a little bit of time after practice getting some extra? Can you try this move or do this here? How difficult is it to emulate one of those guys to sort of practice to get ready to do exactly what you're saying?
No, it's exactly what you just said, Trevor. You get the guys on the practice squad to go in and watch the film with you. They'll go in, they'll watch the film with you and maybe one of the other O-line or D-line coaches, and you want to get a chance to get a simulation. I need you to line up this way with this alignment, try to get off a certain way. Like it won't be the same, of course, but you do want to try to get as many views of similarity that you can, as many as possible, so you can get those reps. The unique situation about week one is who you're playing 2 months, 3 months in advance. So you've been watching this guy from time to time. You don't spend too much time on him, but you got 2 full weeks before the season where you can watch this guy and study him. And by the time the game comes around, it's like, I'm ready to play this game. Like, I've seen all his bull rushes. I've seen all his wins. I'm ready to play. But
all right, go ahead. Keep going. Yeah.
You're really quick. You get Micah Parsons to come over at the last minute, and now you have to readjust everything. Micah Parsons has a 94.3 PFF pass rush win grade since 2022. And I haven't been in school in a long time, but I know 94 is an A. So, man, to have that added so close to week one, it adds to Penei Sewell's plate, but he'll be ready. He'll be ready. I have complete faith in him and what he's able to do. I can't wait to see it.
There we go. We already got at PFF Terron. Change the Twitter handles. He's already listed off the PFF grades. We love to see him. My man, thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited to talk to you about so many different trench matchups just like this one throughout the season. Appreciate it, my friend. Enjoy week one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's get it.
All right, I love getting to talk to Terron and just sort of pick his brain about what goes into trench matchups like that of the highest caliber like this. And Dalton, obviously, that's his preview that we have here for Lions Packers. What do you got in this game? How you preview it?
Yeah, just fascinating stuff there. First of all, when you talk about, because we even on this show talk so much about this schematic preview and this scheme and this team running that and attacking this area of the field, but the work for those offensive linemen that goes in with the position coaches and with just the granular level of film watching that goes in and preparing, especially like Terron said there, against a guy like a Micah Parsons, like Rashawn Gary, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, all those guys, that takes an entire week of preparation also. And it's a great point that if Parsons is going to play through this back injury that he has this week, he is a potential game changer. And I think, when you talk about this Detroit offensive line in general and what they're trying to do, not only is it Penei Sewell against them, but at times it could be Taylor Decker. Then you have a very revamped interior offensive line that's got two young guys playing guard, right? And Parsons, if he isn't the best pass rusher in the league, because we kind of agree that it's Myles Garrett, he's probably the most unique in the sense that he can win from anywhere across the line of scrimmage. So he's one of the hardest players in the league to prepare for, and I think for all three of these teams in the NFC North, that's going to be tough. Now, what the Lions are trying to get to in this game, as usual, they're trying to maul people in the run game. They're trying to protect Jared Goff. And I think they're trying, obviously, I know they're trying to get Jared Goff into these play action schemes that they've been so famous for the last few years under Ben Johnson. Now we'll see what John Morton has for us. But if you look at Jared Goff's play action numbers last year against the Packers, you could argue that that's the difference in the two wins that they have. Last year against the Packers, 84.8 play action passing grade, completed 24 out of 27 passes, 8.7 yards per attempt, 115 passer rating. Jared Goff, when this Lions offense can get the run game going, get into their play action schemes, especially against this Green Bay team that struggled at linebacker, although I will say my matchup I actually have written down is Jared Goff versus Edgerrin Cooper, because Edgerrin Cooper is a guy who came in once he started getting in there at linebacker more and more. He improved this unit, particularly in coverage, and that was our question for him coming out of Texas A&M. He was a lot better in coverage than the rest of this group. When you talk about Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, anybody else that they were playing at linebacker, Edgerrin Cooper was really a lot better than them in play action, top 10 play action coverage grade of any linebacker in football last year. So that's my matchup, Jared Goff versus Edgerrin Cooper, on top of what's already a spectacular trench matchup, especially if Micah Parsons is playing.
No, Cooper was fantastic last season, and Tyron Hopper was great this preseason as well. It just feels like the second level for Green Bay is going to be a lot better this year. And on the other side of things, I want to talk about the offensive side for Green Bay, because this felt like a team that really wanted to push the ball deep down the field last year. Jordan Love wanted to do it. He was fifth in attempts of passing yards of 20 yards or more. That was with 78. He was fifth in the NFL. And he was third in total first downs achieved when throwing the ball 20 yards or more last season. And yet, 17th in PFF passing grade in those situations, 18th in completion percentage. It just didn't feel like they had the offensive weapons to really complement that part of the passing game the way that Jordan Love wanted to, the way the overall offense wanted to, and what Matt LaFleur wanted to do there. Now, Matthew Golden, new on the scene, their first-round wide receiver. 92.1 receiving grade on deep passes of 20 yards or more with Texas in 2024. Can we get that right off the bat? Because I think, like I said, that I believe that the Raiders are going to be gunslinging with Geno Smith and Chip Kelly. I think Jordan Love's going to want to open it up as soon as possible here to start the 2025 season. So now they have a wide receiver that they can do that with. Now he's a rookie, so how much confidence do you have for him to be able to do that in week one? That will to be determined, I suppose. I do have the Packers winning this game. I have them winning 34-31 as one of the best games to watch this weekend. What do you got, Dalton?
I've got the Packers also at home, 28-24. Now, I do think a big difference is whether or not Micah Parsons does play. There's rumors that he's going to get an epidural and play through this back injury, and he may not be able to play the full, say, 65 to 75 snaps in this game that it takes. But if you even get maybe 30 out of him, those are the 30 snaps that could make the difference, especially with as versatile as he is and how Jeff Hafley could deploy him, especially against this interior. The Lions, I think, want to slow this game down, run the football. Now, keep in mind, we will say, especially if Parsons doesn't play, the Packers' defensive tackle situation without Kenny Clark, there is an opportunity for the Lions' offensive line to have success. But I'm going to take Green Bay, and I love what you mentioned about Jordan Love there and the deep passes and controlling safeties, right? When you're talking about opposing defenses and controlling the balance between taking those deep shots and then working underneath. It's this pendulum, right? It's this thing of, okay, first of all, one high, two high, how are they playing it scheme-wise? And then even just the sheer depth of it, right? Like the depth of it, the difference in a safety being 10 yards deep, 10 yards deep, and 14 yards deep is massive. That could tell you everything you need to know about a defense. So I think Jordan Love, don't force those deep shots. They're going to be there at some point. Matthew Golden's going to be a heavy part of every game plan, but I'm taking Green Bay at home. I think especially if Parsons plays, they're looking like a lot more complete football team.